Hey, everybody. How's it going? We are live. How's everybody doing tonight? It's Friday. Hello, Rebecca, Touched by Yarn. Hello, Barb's Country Home. Hello, Casey at Ormsby Farms. Hello, Paul's Green Space. So tonight, Lisa Colovi will not be here tonight. She's one of our moderators. Casey is going to be helping out moderating, but he won't be in the chat too much. So I don't want to speak for him, but I just want to let you guys know that because he's being a sweetheart and helping me out. But tonight we have a special guest. Hello, Mennonite Farmhouse, and Leanne from Mennonite Farmhouse will also be helping out with moderating. So thank you so much for helping, Leanne, and thank you so much, Casey. I appreciate you both so much for stepping in for Lisa. She got an opportunity to go to a fun thing. Oh, Casey, I didn't make you a mod. That might help. Hold on. Geez, Casey, I had you down as a mod. I don't know where that came from, but thank you. Hey there, Green Granny 2, Denise Cassell, and Casey should be a mod now. So thanks for coming in, everybody. Thank you. So I think we're going to get right to it. And I'm going to bring Krista up. So guys, I just wanted to let you know, Krista comes from Huss Family Farms. I'm going to have her tell more about herself. She is a social media influencer on Instagram. She is also a female in agriculture. And she's just got a great account, awesome stories. Tonight she was making fun because she was out working. And I had told her earlier in the day, like, don't worry about being all gussied up because we just, we do our thing here. Because I wanted to tell her, like, I just run in from what we're doing. I didn't want her to think she had to get all dressed up or anything. So she's just, you can just tell she's such a genuine woman, which is really awesome. So without further ado, I am going to bring up Krista from Huss Family Farms. Let's give her a warm welcome. Hello.
Hi, thank you for that nice introduction.
Oh, no problem. I was laughing at your IG story when I saw it.
So I had a bug or something in my face, and I went to like wipe my face, and then my face was itching later on. I was like, "What is wrong?" And I had dirt all over my face. It was like falling in my nose. It was.
That's reality. That is total reality.
Yeah, it is very reality for me. Real life. So you want me to tell about me? What do you want from me?
Well, actually, I just wanted to tell you that Paul's Green Space said, "Welcome, Krista."
Oh, I see the comments now.
Okay, good. I'm
not paying attention.
And Callie Homesteading with Pooh Bear. Hello, welcome in.
Hello, I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're really glad to have you. Appalachian American Homestead is here. And so every once in a while, either there'll be like a gap in the conversation. I'll just jump over, or I'll tell you I'm jumping over to the chat just so I can acknowledge some folks in the chat. Okay. But Casey at Ormsby Farm said, Krista.
Hey, Casey, you said?
Yes. Casey. Yes. And Berkshire Farm is here. Jackie and Frank. Hello. But so why don't you just tell us, and obviously I always tell people safety first and, share what you want to share. And if I ever ask a question, I don't usually ask personal ones, but everybody has a different level of comfort with the internet. So if I ask you something and you don't want to answer it because you don't think it's something you want to put out there, I'm okay with that, just so you know. Hello, 12 Stones.
Hello.
So, yeah, so why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, and if you can include what state.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit about your farm and stuff.
Okay. So I am Krista Huss, for those of you who don't know me. I am from North Carolina. I'm actually about 30 miles west of Charlotte. I am a first-generation farmer married to a fourth-generation farmer. Here at our farm, we grow corn, cotton, soybeans, wheat, We have a herd of Kiko goats that we are raising. I grow mums. I have a backyard flock of chickens. And in the next few years, we're hoping to expand into greenhouse, produce. That's kind of been my passion the last few years, is the produce flower side. I've kind of found my own, I guess, part of the farm that I really enjoy. And we're trying to just diversify, just add on more products, crops. Say you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. It's just nice to have a little variety. I am a photographer as well. I'm a stay-at-home mom, meaning that I don't clock into an 8 to 5 job. So during the day, I am taking care of goats, taking care of kids, taking care of chickens, helping move equipment around, field to fields. And my days can look very different. Today, I've pretty much been doing mums all day. I stopped a few times to help move equipment, but none of my days are the same. And I don't really have a set schedule. I could be doing one thing and be called to help somewhere else. So that's pretty much it as far as intros, I guess.
So first generation.
Yes.
So would you tell us a little bit about what made you get into farming?
So that's interesting. I'm actually working on a speech, like for speaking event, and the title of it is From Rivalry to Farm Family. When my husband and I have been together as a couple for almost 8 years. We started dating when I was 15, and he's the only guy I ever dated. So when we first started dating, I hated farming, like with passion. I always called it my rivalry. Like, instead of spending time with me out farming and having to plan outings around farming, and I hated so bad. And even my husband kind of laughs about me being so involved in agriculture now, but I think when I had kids, it kind of changed my perspective. Seeing the characters that my children are learning, and since I married my husband, I obviously accept the fact that I was going to be on a farm whether I liked it or not. And I think having kids, and I think God just changed my heart, and slowly I started getting involved in the farm. And when I first came into this family, I knew nothing. I couldn't tell you how to crank a tractor. I could tell you nothing. And now, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I have learned so much, and I'm proud of myself for all that I've learned in this short amount of time. I can operate from tractors to module builders for cotton. I've kind of had to step in, learn, and I've been put to work. The goats are mainly my responsibility. I do probably 99% of their care. So I'm on a tractor multiple times a day. And I'm also hand milking 2 goats a day. So I milk 2 goats a day. So I joke, I went from farming being my rivalry to us being a farm family and me defending agriculture now. So it's quite a turn of events.
It is. And it's funny how stuff like that works,
Oh, I know.
I grew up in Queens, New York. So I always joke about canning. My mother didn't know how to can, and it was not agricultural at all. Now, my dad worked on dairy farms in upstate New York. In the summers, he would do all that. And then I married my husband, who was from a small town in Colebrook, grew up working on a sheep farm for many years. So he was the guy who knew all the farming stuff, not me. And he always wanted to do it. And we talked about it for years, and I was the holdout. And, then we would talk about it when I came around to it. And it was like, we just kept letting life get in the way, if that makes sense. We were too busy working. We were too busy raising a kid. We were too busy doing all this stuff. And then, obviously in 2020, when life changed for a lot of us, we got scared.
Yeah.
We got scared. I mean, literally just said, "Oh my gosh, we need to do something." And so we, ended up doing what we had here, whereas any other time we made excuses for it, and we only have 2 acres. So, but we've got a lot on 2 acres. So it's pretty good, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us are starting to rethink things. So I can see how going from rivalry to, a farm family, because I know Leanne at the Mennonite farmhouse was saying she said she would marry a farmer, and she married a farmer. And
Yeah.
she's in the state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's just really cool, all this stuff. I'm just going to go to the chat real quick because a bunch of people have come in. Let me see here. Hey, Don Ray B, welcome in. Hey, Craig Tim. Hey, Garden State Gardener. I hope you're doing well, Joe. Good to see you here. Hope you're feeling better, my friend. No, Joe, not many people will can in Queens. That's for sure. I grew up in Maspeth, Joe. Hey, Ariella, Viking Venturer, welcome in. Hey, Cindy and Gary from Pathways Homestead, welcome in. And Berkshire Farm said, Frank grew up with chickens, pigs, and horses. I was a big city girl in St. Louis. Now in our 50s, we're going back to our roots. Yeah, pretty much same here. My husband said to me, he's been saying it a lot lately. He's like, why couldn't we have done this when we were younger? So you raise cotton. So do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I find it interesting. Because when I think of cotton, I think of Mississippi.
Oh, yeah. Cotton is my favorite crop that we grow. It's just such a different crop. Grown only in 17 states in the United States because of the climate. Cotton likes warm environments. I don't know all 17 states off the top of my head, but they are the South. So we plant cotton in May and we harvest it in mid to end of October. Right now, I posted this evening that we had our first bloom today, which is exciting because the bloom will fall off in about 2-ish days, and then that's where the bulb will develop that turns into the cotton. So that's quite exciting for us here. It's always a big deal. You look for the first bloom, and it's just exciting. But what I love about cotton is the sustainability of cotton. I know the last few years it seems like everybody has, wanted to know sustainability, which I mean is a good thing. And they like to, I don't want to say attack, but they like to question farmers and, come to us, well, what are you doing to protect our environment? And people don't realize that as farmers, we have always been practicing sustainability. It has just become a more popular topic the last few years, I would say. So at our farm, we plant a cotton that is a GMO seed. And I know that's a very touchy subject. And if you don't want me to mention it, I won't. I don't.
It's me. I muted it. Sorry. Krista was like, what's going on?
I was like, oh gosh.
No, sorry. Sometimes it's easier because if I get background noise so people can hear you, so I'll probably do that 50 times. But I'm fine with it because I feel everybody has to do what works for them, and we don't argue here.
Yeah, and I mean I don't either. I don't like controversy, so I try to avoid it. But at our farm, we plant GMO cotton, and the reason for that is because as farmers, we're losing land left and right. They're developing land, they're putting houses up, and we are expected to grow more food and clothing on less acres. And with GMO seed, we're able to grow more in less amount of land. With GMO seed, it is also more resistant to parasites. So when we plant the seed, it's less likely to have insects, attack the seed, which lets us have, a bigger stand when the cotton comes up. It is also more resistant to bugs and herbs, weeds. So we can actually use less pesticides on the crop because it is resistant to a lot more diseases, insects. It also, GMO cotton requires less water. It's able to handle more harsh environments. So none of our cotton is irrigated. Well, none of our crops, period, are irrigated. The only water our crops receive is, rainwater. So for our farm, GMO just works. It works for us and our location, and it's what we do.
Yeah, and it's important because that's what a lot, Leanne at the Mennonite Farmhouse said people need to be educated on GMOs, and it's very true. And regardless of where you stand on the topic, there is a reason why GMO is the way it is. And I'm going to bring it right down to the basics. And that is, like you said, the farmers are being forced to grow on little, right? It's also not a lot of money. And the bottom line is, if the farmers don't grow and don't sell, they don't eat.
Right.
That's just reality. So
Right.
I'm with you.
So they want us to be more sustainable as farmers, and GMO seeds is, some of the technology we've come up with, and then they don't like that. So it's kind of like we're on a hamster wheel, just running, trying to find, something to make everybody happy. And I will say this about GMO, this is my stance. If you choose to not eat GMOs, that's your choice. That's your choice. Just like I have a choice. But before you make a choice, be educated. Get information from a good source, reliable source. I always tell people you wouldn't go to a car mechanic if you're having heart trouble. Why would you go to news and the media for agriculture advice? Come to a farmer, ask us. We would love to educate you. I love education. So that's my soapbox.
Absolutely, and it's welcomed. I did a video a while back on loss, and loss comes in so many different forms, right? And so I'll give you the example that I used was, for number one, I was talking about for new homesteaders, sometimes people aren't prepared for that.
Yeah.
They don't realize how much loss they're going to experience. Right. So basically, it was just my experience. We had lost a bunch of baby turkeys that we hatched because turkeys are just, I'm convinced, born ready to die.
Yeah.
And they're not like baby chicks where they pop up and they're running around. They're so much different. But one of the examples that I gave was Winter Storm Atlas came through the state of South Dakota. It affected other states, but I only know the South Dakota stats. When it came through the state, I don't know, 7 years ago or something like that, it killed livestock, cattle, horses, all the different varieties of livestock across the state because it had hurricane force winds with extremely deep snow and cold. And it was spring. Yeah. It was April. And the reason why I brought that up is that was loss for those families because those families depended on that year's supply of beef going to be sold to be processed for their family.
Yeah.
So, we have to look at loss as emotional, but we have to look at it as a business as well because that's what supports your family, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing, definitely. I'm just going to go to the chat real quick. Leanne said, we are losing land to solar panels in my area. Yep, very true. Very true. A lot of wind turbines here because we have a lot of open lands. Ariella said, and she's in Australia, good land has been lost to encroaching urbanization. Yep. Leanne said, don't get my husband on a soapbox.
Yeah.
Hello, Tom on the plant. Hello, Matt Matthews Patch. Welcome in. Rebecca Touched by Yarn said the states are Texas, California, Arizona, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana. She's on it. Berkshire Farm said I first learned about GMO in hygiene school when I did a paper on how they put the DNA of a cold fish into a tomato to last longer. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see here. So yeah, so how long would you say that your family? Did you say I? Forgive me if I missed it. How long have you been farming?
So my husband is the fourth generation of the farm. Are you talking about me as me personally? How long have I been farming? Or
So since you and your husband got together, is how long you've had the family farm?
um, I'm, I guess is what I should have said from the get go is that I married into the farm family. So I
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, let's see here. So, what are some of the things that? What is your favorite thing to do? I know you talked about like you want to expand the flowers and everything like that. Is that what your favorite thing to do is right now?
I would say my favorite thing is, gosh, if I had to choose, well, let me just start by saying this. So my goal is to own a agritourism farm. I love educating people on agriculture because there's such a huge gap between, farmers and consumers. I've actually spoken a few schools about cotton last year, and one of the kids came up to me and said, "You're not, you're not a farmer." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not. You don't look like a farmer. You're a girl, and you don't have on overalls." And I was just like, that will forever be stuck in my head. They don't know. And I brought in some actual cotton and was showing it to them. One of the kids got a piece and looked at it and went and started chewing it. He just assumed because it grew in a field that it was food. They don't know. There's such a huge gap, and if we don't educate the next generation as farmers, who will? So I have a passion for education. So I hope to have an agritourism moms, welcome kids, schools to the farm, just educate and give people the farm experience. It's just a different way of life on a farm, and I just want everybody to get to experience that.
I agree. I'm going to start controlling it from the computer instead of here. um, Hi, Bullfrog 79. Thanks for being here. That's Uncle Al. We all know him as Uncle Al. um, yeah, and I think that's really important because I think there's a huge disconnect even with adults.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because it's a lot of people don't realize where their food is coming from, what's going on with it, good or bad. I'll put it that way. Even if they buy it from a farmer's market, I don't even think they realize a lot of the time how beneficial that is. They think, ooh, organic, but I don't think people realize the whole backstory to it, like how much love was put into it, so to speak. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So do you also like raise animals and breed animals to sell?
Yes, so our goats, we actually have at the moment 26 goats. 14 of those are babies, and then the rest are mamas. So 12 mamas, 14 babies at the moment. And by babies, I mean they were born between March and April.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hi, Lori's World. Um, that's really cool. That's really cool. I have two litters of piglets coming up End
Oh,
of July, July 25th and August 7th. It's my first one, so I'm really nervous.
yeah. This was our first litter of kids, so it was very nerve wracking for me. Because I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I had done tons of research, but you know how that is until you actually see it with your eyes in real life. You just don't really know that much. So I learned so much through kidding season this year. So much.
Did you have any problematic births?
We did not. All of
Good.
them did great. We lost a few. We had one that the mama, she had twins and she just abandoned one of them, like would not let it nurse. So we brought it in the house. It became a bottle baby and it just didn't do well. So my husband and father-in-law think that the mama just knew something was wrong with the baby and just rejected it. So we lost a few, but overall it was a very successful kidding season for us, being our first.
Well, that's really good
Yeah.
because for a nerve wracking season, uh,
Yeah.
it's funny, when you're a female, right? When you get pregnant, everybody decides to share their stories of difficult pregnancies and births, right? and and it's funny because I find it's the same with pigs
Oh,
or goats. You know what I mean? Because like all of a sudden, I'm hearing all these stories and I'm watching people
yeah.
pulling calves, pulling kids, pulling pigs. Even like somebody had a birth with their first time pig where the baby's snout was caught under a hip bone, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and it's like wild. And I've told the chat here a lot of times that there's no pig vets here.
Yeah.
Like we're on our own.
Yeah.
And so of course the anxiety kicks in to begin with.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And so I have 50 million products in my birthing and first aid kit in case I need it.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. I think the storm is coming in. I saw the lightning behind you.
I hear thunder. I'm sorry. I could hear it.
No, don't apologize. Please don't apologize at all. I'm going to go to the chat real quick just to say hello. I see a bunch of people coming in. Doug at Appalachian American Homestead said, yeah, those mamas know somehow something is wrong with them. Seen it several times. Yep. Well, and you guys know it. I've said it before. The reality of it is, nature does what it needs to do.
Right.
And whether we agree with it or not,
Mhm.
nature's survival of the fittest for a reason,
Yeah.
you know? Let's see here. Just want to go back. Hey there, Andale Homestead. Thanks for lurking. People like to listen and lurk, they say, because it's late by them. Anne is also in North Carolina, so she's up as late as you are.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hey there, Annette at Annie's Kitchen. I just want to thank all the moderators stepping up tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I know Leanne went to go feed her farmer husband because he just got in. She'll be back. Yeah, I know Texas would really love rain, you guys. Hey, Huga Homestead. Hey, Krubby the Beagle. I think I got everybody. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I'm trying to focus on our guests in the chat. So I just wanted to make sure. So do you grow? I know that you're looking to expand into vegetables and stuff like that. I know you grow certain crops, obviously, for the farm to sell, but you were looking into getting into more produce. Do you have like a small garden for your own family that you grow during this year?
So this is going to sound really, really horrible. We did not get a garden planted this year because kidding season was right in the middle of us planting. It just did not happen this year. We had a beautiful garden last year. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. We had beautiful. And this year it didn't happen. We obviously had to prioritize a living animal over getting squash in the ground. My brother plants a big garden at my mama's house. So, we help out there and we get vegetables from there, but we don't have a garden on our farm this year. It's kind of embarrassing to admit. It is.
I think it's honesty though.
I know. That's I mean that's my number one thing on social. I don't care one follower, a million. Like I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna be me. And we don't have a garden.
And that's okay.
It is. It is.
Because you're feeding America. So thank you. And clothing America. Hey, you know, we live, you know, we're in we're in the southern Black Hills of South Dakota, not far from Mount Rushmore.
Oh.
And so we're over 5,300 feet. We got about 67 days of growing season. So, you know, watermelon's not happening. Yeah. Cantaloupe's not happening. You know, and it's okay. You know, it's just, so we plant what we know does best. And so we planted a lot of potatoes this year because they were stellar last year. Yeah. We planted some squash, but really the only thing that has saved us this year is I got a greenhouse off Marketplace for $50.
Yeah.
And I have my tomatoes. I have everything I can in there. Let's just put it that way. I have rammed it in there, and the tomatoes are huge.
Oh, right. Cool. Yeah.
The plants, I should say. But the tomatoes, we actually have tomatoes on the vine. This is the earliest year we've ever had them. And I'm talking early varieties, like early girls. Usually we get them in late August. So, but you guys have that in North Carolina, you have that heat and humidity. I know right now it's like overwhelming, but you normally have that heat and humidity, which is really great for certain crops. Whereas ours is a very, very low humidity. So, you know, like I think right now I'm just going to look real quick. You're probably going to want to fly out here. But it's actually warm for us. It's 73 now, but the humidity is 57%. And you're probably at about 100.
Yeah, I think it was like in the 80s, 90s. I don't really remember. I don't know, it's just miserable.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just amazing the different climates and the zones and all that stuff. It makes a huge difference, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because I think somebody said to me about, I think it was Leanne, tomatoes under like 50 degrees at night or something, they're not doing anything.
Right.
And so that we're under 50 plenty of nights.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Which is crazy, you know? But so then I watch all my Southern YouTubers, like Ann Dale, she's in North Carolina, and I watch her growing in her garden, and I'm like, everything looks lush and green, and it's delightful. I can't even keep my Cooney pastures green.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's just funny. Everybody's got different challenges because I know the humidity can create a lot of issues for you as well, whereas the dryness creates issues for us, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see here. So I'm just going to go to the chat real quick. I saw some folks coming in. Carla at Living a Rogue Life said, it never hurts to let the soil rest. So there you go. Oh, I love you too, Andel. No worries. I know you have problems with the weather too. You totally do. Thank you, Carla. I love that greenhouse. I need 5 more, I've decided. Hi, Wendy Hardneck Farms. And I don't know if you guys are hearing the beeping in the background, but if you are, it's my freeze dryer. So don't worry, I'm not going to blow up. It's just telling me that my onions need to be checked. Hey there, Hoops from Hooper's Aussie Mayhem. Let's see. Hey, Mr. Blue Collar. Welcome in, welcome in. Do you guys process any animals for your family?
Not yet. I have my chickens, I have laying hens, so we get eggs from them, and I sell some eggs. I have actually raised 2 turkeys that I am hoping to have processed. I'm actually debating on if I want to attempt it or send it somewhere. But I've got to make a decision on them pretty soon. But if I do those, that will be the first animals processed for us on the farm.
Very cool. It's easy to do yourself.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I honestly, being honest, I think the actual killing of the animal is what I'm going to struggle with. Just being honest, that would be hard for me. You know, I've raised it from a 3-day-old. Well, I don't know how old turkeys are when you first get them, but I raised it from that, and I would have a hard time being the one to do the actual processing. Just being honest.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't do it. I'll be honest. I can do everything else.
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing, well, poultry we process ourselves, and so we have bourbon red turkeys, and that we've been breeding, and we hatched out 5 for raising for meat, and then we've had a variety of different meat birds every year. This was our 3rd year doing meat birds, and because that fits with our 2 acres, right? Because it's really easy to have all those animals on the farm in the summertime and then they're gone and we downsize.
Right.
But the piglets that we are going to have, my goal is to sell them as piglets. However, my backup plan, because South Dakota is very much a traditional farming state, so they're all about the commercial hogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I have kuni pigs that take too long to grow out.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I had to have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
But that was how I got my pet, but also my farm animal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I could have the breeding animals. And so we have 2 boars and 2 sows, and this is their first birth. And but you know, they take 18 months to grow out. People want to be able to have a feeder pig that's April to November. So I'm hoping people buy the piglets, but if they don't, my backup plan is obviously we would keep 1 or 2 for meat ourselves. And that's going to be a hard one for me.
Yeah.
Because the kuni pigs are like little dogs.
That's what I've heard.
And I had 2 commercial pigs, and we bought them as feeder piglets, and we had them last year from January 30th until the end of August. And I purposely went to the processor with my husband so I could see them get loaded, because they handled the slaughter and the processing and all that. But I think we're going to try to do it ourselves because processing is really difficult to find here now. So, you know, it's just one of those things where he has to do all that. I can't. I'll help process, though, once they're deceased. No problem. Right. But I can't. It's a hard thing to do.
It is.
Absolutely. I'm just going to go to the chat again real quick. Man, hey, Nancy, our treasured home. Hi, Mrs. Lisa. I'm sorry, Mrs. Lisa. Lisa at Mrs. Lazy Days Ahead. And Wendy at Hardneck. I'm sorry if I missed you earlier, friend. Take care, Garden State Gardener. I hope you feel better. Hi, Life with Belinda and Chuck. Welcome in. All right, let me just go back down. Dawn Ray B is in Virginia or West Virginia. I always screw that up, Dawn. But she just processed her own quail.
Oh.
This woman, she built herself a little house out there. She planned to retire out there. You should see the stuff this woman's doing. She does her videos on YouTube and she says, I don't know what I'm doing, but she's out there building coops and everything. So cool. Good night, Andale. I thought I saw someone say good night to you. Let's see. Ha! Lazy Days Ahead said, Jesse said, sorry I'm late, Lisa, but Ms. Andale was busy beating me out of some prizes, and I have to take a moment to pout. That you feel free. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here, everybody. Yeah, the more you handle, Mr. Blue Collar said, whoops, he's got a good point. The more you handle the processing, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
I know for my husband and I, like my husband always said to me, we kind of do a thing where we say a prayer and we just express our gratitude for how they're going to nurture our family and all that. And one of the things Ryan always, like, he always takes a deep breath before the first one. And I think it's just to get in that mindset of, he always said to me, it's never going to be easy, because if it was, there'd be something wrong.
Right.
Because you want to have respect for life.
Right.
You know, but of course, obviously, the more you're exposed to it, the more you're able to partition those feelings off and be able to do what you need to do.
Yeah, I get that.
Hey, Gina. Welcome, welcome. Let's see here. Oh, good. We're stuck with Andale a while longer. Good. I'm glad. So when you harvest the cotton, just because I'm intrigued about that. So when you harvest the cotton, what form is it in when you harvest it to sell it or send it to market or whatever you do to bring it to the next step?
So, back in the day when cotton was picked by hand, they would pick the white lint out of the boll. So that's what our pickers do. They pick just the white cotton out of the boll. So it is then sucked up into a basket in the cotton, or basket on the machine that holds it. We then empty it into what we call a module builder, and we pack it down. An arm literally like packs it down and makes what we call a module. And trucks from the gin will come pick up this module. And when I say module, I'm not talking like a straw bale. I'm talking about like something the size of a tractor trailer, almost. So they come pick it up, take it to the gin, and once it leaves our farm on the trucks, we don't see it again. So they take it to the gin, and they will gin the cotton to remove the seeds, inside the cotton, and then they contract it out to sell it. And it's really cool because the seed that's in the cotton, and I'm sure a lot of y'all know, it can be used as livestock feed. It's used in cosmetic stuff. It's used in a lot of stuff. It's really cool. Cotton is just so sustainable, and there's so many uses for it. I love it.
That's really cool. Do you feel comfortable saying like how many acres of cotton you grow?
So I'm trying to think. I would say probably over half of our farm is cotton. I'm really not sure the acreage, honestly. Well,
Wow.
So let me just say this. Acreage is kind of a touchy subject in agriculture because, and I don't really understand why, but I mean, it is. So a lot of farmers don't like to disclose how many acres they farm because somebody else in agriculture that knows, what the market prices are and what the yield average is, they can calculate, your income, and asking acreage is just uh, um, like a taboo topic in ag. Most farmers won't tell you a definite answer of how many acres they farm. Most of them will say, what is it? Enough to keep me busy, but not enough. Enough to keep me busy, but I always take more. It's what a lot of people say. Um, But I want to say over half of our acres is in cotton. The remainder is beans. We didn't do any wheat this year. We have some corn. We have a little corn. We grow a little corn because we use our own corn to feed the goats. So we have a few acres in corn, but mainly cotton and soybeans at this point.
I did not know that, so I hope I was not offensive asking that question.
A lot of people don't know that, so I always like to use that as an opportunity to educate again, because not everybody is going to be as kind about it as I am. They're going to say, "Oh, I'm not telling you that," and I mean, a lot of people don't know that, so I like to just kind of educate people so somebody more rude than me doesn't like bite their head off later.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it very much so. If you'd like to see Lisa put her foot in her mouth, please come back again.
I don't mind telling you, but my husband would probably get a little irritated at me. So I don't really understand the whole idea behind keeping your acreage to yourself, but I mean, whatever.
Well, but it makes sense now that you've explained it. It makes a lot of sense, and it's sort of like keeping your cards close to your vest, right? Kind of thing. Because, like you said, if people could figure stuff out, and I think it was 12 Stones Ranch said it sounds like it's almost like asking somebody how much money they make a year.
Yeah, it's kind of like asking us what we have in our bank account, I guess is how most farmers see it. Because if I tell you and you also grow cotton, you can do the math and figure out what we're making. And I don't know, it's just a taboo subject.
And maybe put you out of business kind of thing too.
I mean, yeah. So I don't know, it's just a taboo.
That's really, I appreciate you teaching me that. Hey, Glenda, Grace and Fire, welcome in. Welcome in everybody who's coming in now. Hey, Broke Cowgirl. Appreciate you being here. Yep, Q, we learned something new today. That's right.
Yay, I've taught somebody something my day.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, I didn't know that. And like Don Ray B said, in homesteading, it's a regular question that we answer easily, But it's a really good point. And so the corn you use, sorry.
I do feel like the whole don't disclose your acres is more row crop farmer than homesteaders. I feel like homestead people are okay disclosing acreage. I feel like it's mainly like row crop farmers that don't want to tell you. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because I think that's what Don was saying was as homesteaders were almost like for me, it's like, haha, we only have 2 acres.
Yeah.
Look what we got going on 2 acres, right? Somebody else might be like, oh my gosh, we're growing, we're moving onto 20 acres, right? And yes, when we're talking about not asking farmers about acreage, it's a taboo subject, so we're all learning here tonight. Let's see.
Come across as being ill about it, but
no, you didn't. Not at all. No, I love it. I love to learn things, so that's cool. Let me see here. Mr. Blue Collar said, I read an article that said less than 1% of the population are farmers, and the average age of the farmers is in the upper 50s. If this is true, we may all be in trouble.
Yeah. So touching on that is true. 1% of the population feeds the other 99%. And I feel like a lot of the reason that we are losing land is that farmers are getting older. They're handing land down to children who are not interested and just want to sell it. And now, I don't know about in your area, but in our area, the housing market is insane. Like, houses are selling for way more than they're worth. Like, it's just crazy. So I feel like these kids that are being handed all this land and don't want it are just seeing money signs. I feel like that's what's happening. A lot of kids, grandkids are inheriting land and then just selling it to the highest bidder.
Yeah, so here farming is ranching.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so I've got Yogi Hollow Farm. I really should be Yogi Hollow Ranch, right, even though I'm only teeny tiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's all about everything is a ranch here, right? And a rancher. So in South Dakota, obviously, a lot of beef cattle, not a lot of dairy. We don't see dairy. Whereas when I was in Connecticut and New England, tons of dairy cows, tons. Here it's free range cattle in the summertime, and in the wintertime, then they're moved closer to the farm so they can be fed hay. Excuse me. And um, like some of the, I'm just trying to think of some of the things. I know more about it out here than I did when I lived in North Carolina, but like cattle thieving out here is a big thing. So like they're all branded, they're all tagged, you get caught with somebody else's, you're in trouble kind of thing. And I'm trying to think what else. I think the main point was that everybody has their unique challenges. And so it doesn't matter where you live, right? There's always those unique challenges that people face.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. But the property wise, so we're in a bit of a touristy area. And one of the challenges we have out here is if you buy a home or a ranch farther out from town, there's no water.
Oh.
So because we have a lot of limestone, you can drill down and get a well.
Uh-huh.
If you drill a little bit too far, you go through that layer of water and you can hit nothing and lose it all. So a lot of people have what they call cisterns, and a lot of the ranchers will tank water in if they can't get a well.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the other thing is the housing prices, like you said, are off the charts. So you have homes that are selling for, and I'm going to go like say 200,000, right? Barns are in better shape, right? But then what you have on the other side of it is $6.2 million.
Yeah.
And those are being bought up, which is insanity. But does that make sense? So it's like, I think everybody's waiting for that real estate bubble to just pop at this point.
Yeah.
Because your area, you have a lot of folks. Not necessarily, I'm not familiar with your town, but I am familiar with the Charlotte area, which is, very urban and stuff like that. Do you have a lot of people in your town, do you know?
I think our population.
I'm sorry, how much?
I'm trying to think. I don't know that I know. I really don't know that I know.
Mine is about 1,900, but in the summer it's probably 12,000.
Yeah, I want to say ours is probably 20,000 maybe or 10. I'm really not sure. I'll have to look that up. That's a question.
No big deal.
But I probably is because we are so close to Charlotte, 30 miles. Charlotte is creeping into us because on the far eastern, so Lincoln County, the county I'm in, borders up to Mecklenburg County that Charlotte is in. So Denver is a town that's in the far east of our county, closest to Charlotte. Denver has become like a mini Charlotte, I guess. And that is just slowly making its way towards my town. So that's our problem that we're having right now. Charlotte's just creeping in closer and closer.
Yeah, Charlotte is like sprawling. They really are sprawling.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I tell people all the time and they laugh at me, but I don't like leaving the town that I live in. Like, if I don't have to go out of town for a month or more at a time, like, I'm a happy camper. I mean, people are crazy nowadays and traffic. I'm happy staying in my little town and not leaving.
Mine too, except it's funny. I think we got stuck at I got stuck at the light in town the other day, which normally is very, very quiet, but now that it is swamped, I think I sat there for 4 cycles and I was like, this is ridiculous.
In 2020, when things, shut down for a while, there was a point to where I didn't leave our property, our farm, for a month at a time. We went to the grocery store, stocked up on, vegetables. We had a freezer, half a cow in the freezer, and we just did not leave the farm for a month. And it was probably the best month that I'd had in a long time. It was just great.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't go leave often. I'll go to town, but I don't leave often. And on Thursday, my husband asked me if I wanted to take a ride just because he had to drop equipment off for work. And it was just like the shut-in gets a day out.
Yeah, I know.
But it's awesome to stay home.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just going to go back to the chat. I saw a bunch of people coming in. Hey, Jesus loving homesteader, welcome in. Gwyneth Bro Cowgirl said you also don't ask how many head of cattle they have.
Yes, I've heard that.
Fascinating. Hey, Brenda at Redbird, welcome in. Grace and Fire, I wanted to say hello. I can't remember if I said hello to you earlier. I'm sorry if I missed you, Glenda. Andale said, okay, Charlotte, North Carolina area. I'm Eastern North Carolina, closer to the Outer Banks.
Oh, I love the Outer Banks.
And so Life with Linda and Chuck, I saw that you had asked earlier. She is from North Carolina, north of Charlotte, was what she said earlier.
West of Charlotte.
I'm sorry?
West of Charlotte.
Oh, sorry, west. I apologize. Let's see. Good night, Carla. Have a good evening.
This is probably very professional, but I'm going to go grab a phone charger real quick. I have been outside and didn't get to charge my phone like I wanted, and it's dying quicker than I thought. So give me just a second. Sorry.
Not unprofessional at all. In fact, you can shut your camera and I'll remove you from the screen, and when you come back, I'll make it easier. How about that?
That works, yeah.
Okay. So how's everybody doing tonight? While we're waiting for Krista to come back, I was wondering, I know she has a lot of storms going on in her area tonight. And just in case she has any issues, I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to ask her some questions. I also know it's really late by her, so I probably won't keep her the full time because she's up early and she's working till late. That woman was working till right before she came on here. So I'm doing good, Andale. How about you? I got tomatoes, Andale, in my greenhouse. I'm very excited. Now I just want them to turn red. And we got some strawberries too. And I was telling Ryan tonight, one of the things that I think drives me crazy is that we get 1 or 2 strawberries, not like a handful at one time. So, oh, Nancy, I'm glad you're doing better than yesterday. But yeah, if you guys have any questions for Krista, I have her link for Instagram in the chat. She's got a really large following on Instagram. And I'll see if I can pull up her account. Oh, I see she's back. So let me just give her a minute. Hold on. I just want to pull up. So this is Krista's Instagram account. It's pinned at the top of the chat. It's in the description box. And I'm going to bring her back up. Oh, thanks, Wendy. Thank you for letting me know. I'm excited that the strawberries, we've had the strawberries for a few years, but I think we finally got the recipe that they need to grow. And the newer ones are actually doing better. But one of the things I've learned with the strawberries is I have to water them every day. If I don't water them every day, the fruit is indicative of not enough water, if that makes sense. They're odd shaped and everything. Add coffee grounds to them and mulch with pine needles. Okay. Yeah, I added coffee grounds to them. I added compost. I didn't add pine needles, but I will. And then we mulch them with straw over winter. But they're doing better than they were last year, and I've added to them. So yeah, watering them every day has really been beneficial. Did you get yourself all plugged in?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Yeah, no worries. We're laid back here. We're not. You could have come on with the dirt on your face, I'm telling you.
Well, I think it came off while I was eating supper. I finished eating supper like 3 minutes before I joined with you.
Same here. Same here. So I was asking the guys in the chat because I know that, first of all, it's really late by you. And I know that you're up at the crack of dawn, and then you're up late tonight here. So does anybody in the chat have any questions for Krista? So, oh, there we go. So Andale said, sorry, I missed the beginning. Were you raised farming or did you start with marriage?
So I am a first-generation farmer that married a fourth-generation farmer. So I'm married into farming.
No worries, Wendy. Thank you. And Leanne, thanks for coming back. I appreciate you. But yeah, so, like Krista talked about, they don't have a garden this year because they're super busy with everything else that they have going on. And I think that's a big reality, is this, making all these decisions, because, there's only so much you can do in a day. Right. And that's the reality.
Yeah.
And, you're also raising a family. Mm-hmm. And you've got your hands in 50 different things, like you said, to diversify.
Yeah.
One of the things we're doing to diversify is our protein sources for us. So we have meat chickens. We have Chinese ringneck pheasants. I know.
Wow.
Well, the thought behind it was poultry's pretty easy to raise.
Yeah.
And it's pretty financially easy too, right?
Oh, okay.
Compared to a cow. Like, I can't have a cow on my land, right? But I have the kuni pigs. But we all know that, the pigs are harder on feed than they are when you're raising, chickens and whatever. So my husband had always wanted pheasants. And he really likes to have them. And they're about 2 or 3 pounds a piece when they're full grown. But it was a way to diversify our proteins because he hunts and fishes also. But so we have a pheasant flight pen. That's what they call it. It's really just a run.
Oh, I was like, wow, that sounds...
It's literally identical to the meat bird pen and the turkeys. Okay. We use pine trees instead of lumber just to be cheap about it. And then we put chicken wire over it and to secure it from predators. But the only difference with the pheasants is that they are more a ground bird. And so they like all the hidey spaces to hide in. So we took some tree boughs and put them in there. And you don't have to give them a house. You just give them a little lean-to.
Kind of like a duck, I guess.
Yeah. And then they have peepers on.
Oh.
Have you ever seen those?
No, I'll have to look it up.
So you have to put peepers on them because pheasants need so much square feet per bird. And if you have males, because you know how it is, you buy straight run, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
But if you have so many males, what will end up happening is they will cannibalize each other. So then if you don't put the peepers on, you have to give them double the space. It's like 60 square foot a bird.
Oh my gosh.
Instead of 25. So I'm
That's
looking
crazy.
to show you the peepers because they're hilarious. Everybody was getting a good kick out of them. But it was the first time we were raising them this year, but we thought, well, we're raising turkeys. I'll have to look it up and send it to you.
Yeah, I'd like to see.
Yeah, so basically it's just a plastic shield that goes over their beak and it keeps out of their direct line of vision.
Yeah, okay.
So they don't attack the bird next to them. But they walk around
and it
with them on.
them.
No.
That's
No. It's fascinating. It's been a learning experience, I'll tell you.
I'm sure.
But again, it's a good one because they're only here, I think they'll be here through October and then they will be processed. So they'll be feeding us. So I'm just going to go to the chat real quick here. Uncle Al, I'm glad you're still here and you're still alive. That's good news. Hey, Barb's Country Home. Rebecca, Touched by Yarn, wants to know if you have any fruit trees.
No.
Okay.
Not that I know of. We have blackberry bushes. That's about as close as I have to a fruit tree.
I'm so jealous.
And they're like natural. Like we didn't put them out. They've been here forever.
So jealous.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome. Do you get a ton of blackberries?
Yeah, we do. They're in several different spots on the farm. So we always go pick a bunch. And my boys love for me to make like a cobbler or a pie, something. I've been doing sourdough lately. So I've been doing all kinds of sourdough recipes and adding berries in and pancakes. So they've enjoyed that.
That's awesome. Barb's Country Home said the pheasants look like they have shades on.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
I like it because with the habitat in there that we've created, they blend right in. You can't even see them. So with the peepers, I was like, I can see them. Like once a week, we kind of shack them. Ryan goes in and shacks them out of the branches so we can at least see them because we want to make sure they're okay.
Yeah, I bet. That's funny.
Let's see. Somebody said they're rocker pheasants with their dark glasses on. Oh, Leanne, rub it in. You got blackberries too. You guys with blackberries have me so jealous.
That's funny.
I am looking for blackberries, but apparently in zone 4B where we are, they're not known to do well.
Oh.
But Alini Hardy is a variety that they do well, and I think you can cover them over the winter, and I can't find them anywhere.
Oh.
Yeah. I've got raspberries, though, and they're doing pretty good.
I'm not a big raspberry fan.
Really?
Yeah.
What don't you like about them?
I think they have this little, like, almost fur thing on them. I don't like it. I don't know. I just can't get past that.
And it's funny because it's like you rinse them off and they almost don't get wet.
Yeah.
I love them, but I know a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
That's funny. Ooh, Barb's Country Home has a blackberry bush and a blackberry vine. Leanne, you don't care for the seeds in raspberries? What about blackberries? Because some people do not like blackberries for that reason.
Yeah.
You look like you're not a fan.
Well, it's weird. I can't eat them like plain, but I can eat them cooked in recipes. I guess is what my thoughts are on that.
I made freezer jam for the first time this year.
Oh.
With blackberries, and it was amazing and easy. But you mentioned sourdough a little bit ago, and I just wanted to tell everyone, and I think you have it in your highlights on your IG.
Yes.
Krista did a day by day sourdough starter to show people how easy it is, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
And she's got it in her highlight reel so you can follow along. And I think you encountered some of the problems people have about forgetting to feed and.
Oh yeah, I mean real life. Hello.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, you guys check that out. I'm definitely going to check it out because I want to try and make sourdough myself. I think that's
People
really
don't realize
cool.
how easy it is. I mean, it's literally flour and water. That's it.
And I think sometimes it's all about who's showing you.
Right, yeah.
So if somebody gets on there and they're like, like yourself, right? You're very matter of fact, you're very real, you're funny. And you talk, I like it because you talk very real life. And so it's really cool because you're like, just feed it.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to do this. That's it.
That's it, yeah.
That's what I need.
I know. Well, some days it's the same thing, 3-4 days in a row. I mean, and it is what it is.
And yet, oops. And yet I hear about people who have sourdough starter that's like 100 and something years old.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. Leanne at the Mennonite farmhouse had to push me to make the blackberry freezer jam.
Oh.
But I'm glad she did because it was super easy. And Leanne is all about cooking and baking from scratch and showing people how easy it is.
Yeah.
So that's what's really cool about her. Oh, cool, Denise. You guys have a ton of blackberries there in Iowa. Awesome. So does anybody have any questions for Krista? Just because I want to make sure we get those answered just in case the storm comes in and because I keep seeing flashes behind her.
Oh, I know.
But no rain?
No, we're getting a lot of rain.
Oh, good.
I hear my husband up dancing, shouting.
Yeah, the rain dance is huge here too.
Yeah.
We get rain and we get hail. So we come right out of winter and we go into hail season.
Oh gosh.
And then it'll start to slow down, but it's just funny because we're in a spot where we'll get a minute of rain. The ground's not even wet. We get a minute of rain and that's it. And then so yesterday it's funny because when it does rain, just like you were posting about your husband texting you and asking how the rain's doing.
Yeah.
Well, I get it too. He's like, it's raining at work. Is it raining at home?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny.
That's funny. No, Brenda, with the freezer jam, it does not get watery. I have not found it to be watery, the freezer jam, when I thought. I really like it. I think it had a very good fresh taste to it. And so I thought it was really cool. Oh, wow. Gwinnett Broke Cowgirl picked a little over 12 pounds of dewberries this spring. Wow. That's what the nursery offered me when I went to get blackberries. She was like, I have dewberries. And I was like, I want blackberries. Yeah, Brenda, it's in the ball recipes. The freezer jam is just so easy. I mean, come on, Brenda, I made it and I don't cook. I don't like to cook. And it stays in the fridge too. So Lazy Days Ahead wants to know, why doesn't Krista have a YouTube page?
Oh, I do. And I posted a few videos. And my son, my 8-year-old, well, he'll be 8 at the end of this month, he wants me to start back on YouTube. So at one point I was doing YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I got to a point to where I was like, I can't do all this. Like, it's just too much. So Instagram had really picked up and was doing great. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on one thing to try and somewhat keep my sanity. So I just kind of neglected Well, I've deleted the TikTok app. I don't keep up with it. And YouTube, my son wants me to get started. I actually have a GoPro and a drone, so I mean, I've got the stuff to do it. You can't do it all, and you have to just prioritize. I just encourage people to follow along on Instagram because I do share throughout the day. I share stories as to what we're doing, and you just can't do it all, and you have to just choose your priorities, and that's what I did.
And I think that you're really smart to do that. Because I know for me, I used to be really active in YouTube, and lately I've had to back off because there's a lot going on here. Whereas wintertime, it's a much different picture, and so, just getting ready for everything. In fact, I had to say no to a great invitation for this party that was a few states away, and I was so bummed, but it's because one of my pigs are due.
Oh, yeah.
And, I'll already have one. I have to assume I'm going to have one litter on the ground at one point, and then I'm going to have another one. So I was like, I can't leave then.
I know.
But, you got to make your decisions. And quite honestly, I've been waiting for this since March of 2021 when I got my first Kuni boar. So I am over the moon. I'm going to be sleeping in the barn.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah, we're getting cameras up and ready and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's hard to do all that stuff, I think what folks don't realize is the larger you grow on one social media platform, how much time it takes,
Yeah. Sure.
I can't even begin to imagine how busy you are with your notifications.
Oh, yeah.
And I just sit there and I'm like, with my smaller YouTube channel and my smaller IG, and I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I actually turned them off so that my phone doesn't go off every time somebody comments or messages because it's just like overwhelming at times, And I'm not complaining. Like I try to answer all messages and comments that I can, but my phone just ding, 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 ding all day long. I was like, oh my goodness. So I don't get notifications. I just, when I open the app, I see them.
Yeah, I had switched to that for a while myself because it gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because I post in my stories a lot more too than the feed. And so people respond to things. It was before they let you like it.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. Everybody would respond to it. Uh-huh. Or I don't know if you find that people respond, even though they're liking it, they're responding to each individual one.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm trying to do something.
Yeah.
And you feel like you got one foot in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you start your YouTube, let me know. Definitely, it would be awesome.
I know. I mean, part of me would love to do it now that my Instagram has grown. I feel like it would be another avenue to educate and just share our farm story with people. So stay tuned. Once I get all my mums in the ground or in pots, I may start posting stuff. We'll see.
That's awesome. Yes, Andale, the girls look pregnant. Eleanor, so I have two girls. It's Eleanor and Fiona. Eleanor is looking more and more pregnant every day, even more so than Fiona. I feel like I have a new obsession with teats on my pig because every day they are popping. You can literally see that her teats are blossoming. Let's say that. Fiona's is also, but you can see that there's a difference because she's about a couple weeks behind. But yeah, they're definitely, it's funny because Fiona looks wider. Eleanor looks like she's hanging lower. But yeah, it's really exciting. And we're going to keep our fingers crossed that everything goes well, but they are looking very pregnant. and it's going to happen. So, it's funny. You talk about being honest. Here's my theory why I didn't have goats. I said to Ryan, if we're going to breed something, we're going to breed little peanuts with little legs.
Yeah.
I said, because I'm watching too many people pull calves and kids. I said, I'm hoping the pigs just come out.
Yeah.
I know there's flaws in that. I get it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. I sit there and I'm like, they look like little beans coming out. Especially some of those. A friend of mine, he's about an hour and a half north of me. He has Berkshire hogs, and it's like they'll have 12, 14 of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
16. And he's had 3 litters recently. And I said, you got piglets running all over the place. And they just run everywhere. They're so cute.
Yeah.
But you'll hear me screaming in North Carolina if I have piglets. Don't worry.
Oh, goodness.
I just want to go look back through the comments to see. Hey, Corn-Fed Life. Welcome in. Welcome in. It will be awesome, Ann Dale. I can't wait. Ariella was saying it's a full-time job taking care of all the stuff we have to do on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's already a full-time job being a full farmer's wife and then a YouTuber. Andale's going to keep her ear out because she'll hear me screaming. I'll send you pictures, Andale. Yeah, it'll be exciting. I remember, this is embarrassing telling you this, but I remember when we started with laying hens. And so when we first got our laying hens and when they finally laid, I was screaming to my husband. I was like, we got an egg. And him with his farm background, he's like, oh my gosh.
I was the same way. I mean, I started out with 4. And when I got my first one, I was just like, oh my goodness. I was so excited. My husband's just like, it's an egg, Krista. You can go to the grocery store and get one.
Yeah. Ryan was just like, it's not Christmas morning. It's an egg.
I know.
Yeah. So he's already preparing for the piglets. He's going to go. City Girl's going to come running in, screaming. But does anybody have any questions for Krista? Because we're at almost an hour and a half, and like I said, I don't want to keep her forever. I know that she's had a long day and got another long day tomorrow, and it's really late by her, and she's been gracious to come on. So we'll just give them a second. So what kind of, while we're just waiting for them to, how do you feel about the kids being involved on the farm?
Oh, I love it. I feel like they are learning life lessons here that most of our society today does not know and just wasn't educated on. I mean, my kids will know where food comes from, and my oldest, he is very involved. He is 7, and he is right with his daddy all the time. He was helping me put dirt in pots this morning. I just feel like he is developing a great work ethic. He is learning how to care for the land, how to respect the land, how to respect and care for animals. I mean, we want them involved in everything that we do. If we lose an animal and have to dispose of them, we share that with them because, I mean, real life, we just want them to know and understand every aspect of it.
That's really admirable. I think that's really important for kids to know. And I think that it can benefit them all in a lot of ways, because I think other times we, as a society, tend to skirt away from discomfort
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to children. And I think that they need to know the reality.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for that. Um, Frank and Jackie at Berkshire Farm asked earlier, and I couldn't find it in the chat, so I'm glad she asked again. What is your best advice on starting on Instagram?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I could talk all night. So, my best advice is to just be you and show up as you. Um, I feel like people can tell when you try to be something you're not, and they pick up on that. And I feel like people appreciate and value openness, honesty. I hope that the way I've spoke and acted on here tonight has been kind of the same as what you've seen on Instagram, that you're like, wow, that's really her. Like, that's how she is every day. Just show up as you, be you. Don't try to put on a show. Some people, want to show up with perfect hair and makeup every day. And I mean, this is real life. I share the good, the bad, the ugly, sometimes probably too much. But just show up as you and just be genuine. And I preach being humble. I don't care if I have 1 or 100 million followers. Like, to me, it's not about the number; it's about the message. Just don't let numbers get to your head, because it's a number. Hitler had millions of followers. Jesus had 12. Don't get caught up on numbers, and just be true to you. Just be you.
That's excellent advice, and you have come across exactly like your page. And it's funny because I've been trying to think all afternoon, and I'm sorry, I can't remember how I found you. And
Probably reels.
no, because because like I said, even with YouTube, like I've had to back off because I can't look at everything. And the same thing with the reels, because I know what happens if I look at the reels. I go down a rabbit hole and I can't get out of it, right?
Yeah.
So I swear somebody's account mentioned you.
Oh.
Which is what made me look, because I was doing that May homesteading challenge.
Oh, okay.
With Nikki at Five Dog and Home to Rusco and all those folks and everything. And I was like, huh. But I think I stumbled across you, and I remembered when I saw your account, and I was like, the first thing it was a reel on chickens, you're right. But I think it was after I followed you and you were talking about chickens, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this lady.
Yeah.
But, it's so true. It's so true.
My mind has been blown, because as my account has grown, people will message me and be like, hey, I know you're busy, but if you have time, can you help me out? I have a sick chicken. And then when I answer, they're like, oh my gosh, you responded. And I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I? And they're like, well, you have 30,000 followers and I have 200. And I'm like, and?
Yep.
I mean, people just, and it's sad that they put people on a pedestal because of the numbers they have. And I'm like, how sad is that? Like, it blows my mind.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you do answer quick, I have to say, for somebody who's so busy. And again, folks, boundaries, right? We want to, she's busy all day. She may not get to it until later. But Ariella, I posted it in the description box, and I also pinned it at the top of the chat, but it's at Huss, Huss Family Farms on Instagram. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what I really liked, because I remember another large account was posting, and this is a good thing, I'm not bashing anyone. Another large account had posted about being in the South and dealing with chicken mites. And I had a chicken issue. I happened to see the stories, and I'm like, well, we're not hot, humid here. But I did go from having 11 chickens to 26. And I was like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And I reached out to her. Doggone it, she answered me.
Yeah.
And like she gave me detailed information. And I was like, aren't you busy? She's like, no, I want to help. And I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you. It turned out I didn't have mites, but I was able to treat for them to make sure, you know what I mean? That was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So it means a lot to people, I think, you know,
Yeah.
when they do that.
And I have had people say, hey, can I have your cell phone number? I'm going to text you a picture of my chicken. And I have had to like put up boundaries and be like, hey, you know, I don't give my private cell phone number out to people. But
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, safety first always. That's the reality,
yes.
right? The reality of it is that there's some scary things in the world.
Yes.
So, um, yeah, exactly. I'll leave it at that. Great. Glenn, sorry, I was looking at Glenda's comment. Leanne says, I think Krista is my long lost sister. Oh, Glenda, you're so kind. But Glenda, I'm not some big celebrity. I'm just me. But I would answer you if I was a big celebrity. I'm totally me. I told people I did a video on my garden last year and I laughed about it. I was like, look at my big tomatoes, and the tomatoes were all like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, to me it's all about being real.
Yeah.
And it's all about if you fail. One of the things I tried to grow cherry tomatoes in the house hydroponically. Mm-hmm. And so everybody voted to put them outside, and because they blossomed, but they didn't grow anything. So now they're outside and they're looking pretty sad, but they've got tomatoes on them.
Well, you know.
Yeah. So, well, guys, we're at over an hour and a half, and I want Krista to be able to get some rest tonight because I did tell her we usually go 2 hours, but I also want to be mindful of her life and the fact that she has a family and works hard. So if you have any last minute questions for Krista or you want to know something, please put them in the chat so that way we can get her moving on so that way she can go to bed or at least relax.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to run through the shower real quick and wash the dirt off of me and go to bed.
Totally get it. Wendy at Hardneck Farm said, have a great evening, Krista. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
Leanne, she's also in Eastern time zone. She's got toothpicks holding her eyes open.
I am a big night owl, though. I'm a night owl, so. But I am tired. Mom planning is exhausting days around here, so they do wear me out.
Yeah, they sure do. They sure do.
And this humidity.
Well, I'm sorry?
This humidity, the weather we're having is not helping.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, you're living in triple digits right now with a heat index. Yeah. Well, I really hope that you get rain. I hope that you get some relief from all the heat. I hope you get all your mums planted. But, you know, again, I know I had told you 2 hours, but I do want to be mindful of you. And I know that can be really hard on Eastern zone.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for coming tonight to talk with us.
Having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here. And everybody in the chat seemed to enjoy everything you talked about. Berkshire Farm, that answer about Instagram, they really liked that, by the way.
Good.
But yeah, so thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. It's been a pleasure, and we would love to have you back anytime.
Yeah, just let me know. Maybe this fall when we're in the middle of cotton harvest, that could be pretty fun.
That could be really cool.
Yeah.
Well, go get you a nice cold shower.
Yeah.
And get you some rest. But thank you again for being a guest. And
thanks.
You're welcome. And everybody have a wonderful evening and have a great, safe weekend. Take care, y'all. Bye-bye.